Hi, everyone. So we are here with San Francisco Cryptocurrency Devs. I'm sitting with Clemens Ley, the CTO of yours, former CTO of yours,
Yep.
or current?
No, former.
Former CTO of yours, and now the CEO of BitcoinToken.com. I got that right?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, all right.
So thank you again for coming. It was a great talk. I think we had a great discussion afterwards as well. To start, I just want to get a sense of, how did you even get into the crypto blockchain space to begin with?
Yeah, so I've been in Bitcoin, quite a long time, and started a company there. Eventually, I got more closely involved, once I became CTO of yours. That was like 3 years ago, but I had experience as an entrepreneur in Bitcoin before, so I've been here for a long time.
Cool. Yeah. All right, so today you basically gave a talk on a Bitcoin token standard, right? So one that you're creating. Just explain to us, why is that even important? Why is this relevant, and why today?
Yeah. So, well, very good question, because Bitcoin token standards get released every single day. So today we had mine and another one. So it seems to be a very popular thing to do right now. Mm-hmm. And so I think the reason that this is happening is that people are starting to realize that Bitcoin can be used for more than just sending payments. And so these tokens are arguably the killer application for Ethereum. So if we can get a good token implementation on Bitcoin to work, that would mean a lot in terms of getting Bitcoin closer to Ethereum in terms of being used as a programming language and not just as a money system.
Right. And then when you talk about Bitcoin as a programming language, can you just talk about what you think some of the differences are, some of the limitations of a Bitcoin programming language versus what we have on Ethereum right now?
Yeah, I don't think there are limitations. I think everything that can be done in Ethereum can be done in Bitcoin as well. It's going to be different. It's going to work different. It's going to feel different sometimes. But I think that all smart contracts that can be done in Ethereum can be done in Bitcoin. And sort of part of my mission and the mission of BitcoinToken.com is to figure out how that works, right? So how can we actually use Bitcoin as an easy-to-use programming language to implement smart contracts? And probably soon we'll be able to do everything that Ethereum can do.
Cool. All right. Let's see. So in one of your previous talks, actually, you talked about having essentially a Turing-complete system, right, based on the Bitcoin protocol. Is that something that you see being really important and relevant in the work that you're doing now?
I think it is important. Sort of this previous talk I did where I kind of showed how to simulate a Turing machine. Just sort of my goal was just to demonstrate that people should think bigger when they're thinking about Bitcoin. That you can actually do lots of things that people are impossible, and if people just start working on these questions, they will figure it out as well. So yeah.
All right, and then what would you say you're most excited about in the space? Besides just the work that you're doing, are there other projects that you've been excited about, or other people that are doing interesting things?
Yeah, it's a broad question. Lots of exciting stuff happens all the time. I, for one, actually try to just focus on my work, and I'm not the best person who's up to date with every single project that's happening all the time. Mm-hmm. And this is not the best question to answer, but there's so many smart people in Bitcoin, or general in blockchain. I mean, Vitalik is very smart, and Joseph Poon. As soon as I start naming names, everybody else will be insulted. But there's spades of very, very smart people in Bitcoin, and the quality of the discussion in Bitcoin has certainly changed a lot since I entered. Okay, so in the early days of Bitcoin, it was very driven by young, not so well educated people, and now with the rising price and Bitcoin companies getting lots of funding, they're starting to pull in really sort of high quality talent into Bitcoin. And I think this is actually a trend that's going to continue over the next years. We're going to get much smarter people working on Bitcoin, and this will help us, not just Bitcoin, Ethereum, and any crypto system. Right. And sort of being sort of this magnet for talent will help us make progress much faster.
Great. Yeah. And then you also mentioned that you're involved in some open source projects. Can you talk a little bit more about that, and who would be a good person to get involved with things like that, who you're looking for to help, and basically, just what those projects are and how some members maybe of our group can be of help to you.
Yeah. So I'm launching one open source project, which is it's called Bitcoin Cash Flow, and sort of the idea is to create sort of a high quality JavaScript Bitcoin implementation. So like was mentioned in the talk, Bitcoin exists and it's a very high quality JavaScript implementation, but it's quite different from other JavaScript, other just Bitcoin implementations. Okay. So just the structure of Bitcore is much more similar. Bitcore is really just sort of taking sort of the C++ implementation of Bitcoin translated to JavaScript. So the structure is very similar, which is actually good because people are familiar with the C++ implementation and understand the JavaScript implementation very easily. Right. But we currently don't have a sort of JavaScript Bitcoin implementation that's current, that's like similar to the existing ones, but just really sort of, very cleanly programmed. And by cleanly programmed, I mean, it uses modern JavaScript, Bitcore is uses prototypal, inheritance, and like sort of adheres to just modern coding standards. Right. That'd be great. And then sort of the end goal of Bitcoin Cash Flow is, that's why it's called Flow, is to have, JavaScript Bitcoin implementation that's statically type checked by Flow. And I think that would really sort of help sort of the, improve the reliability of Bitcoin. And I'm sure we will find bugs just this way. Yeah. So, yeah.
So in your talk today, you basically talked about, creating these Bitcoin tokens using JavaScript. So why JavaScript? Why not some other programming language? We know that JavaScript is kind of notorious for being too flexible, right? And introducing a lot of issues because of that. So why not go with something else?
Yeah. So I, in general, like JavaScript, and so the reason is, there's faster programming languages, and then there's, more, less corner cases, just much more secure programming languages. But JavaScript has one very important distinguishing factor, is that it runs in a web browser. Okay, and it's the only language that really runs well in the web browser right now. And so it's sort of this difference in quality that just makes it much more useful and universal. Right. And so my code is sort of the reference clients will be implemented in JavaScript with the goal of being able to run in a web browser. Because it's just, first of all, I just like sort of the openness of web technologies as opposed to like some app store. And also in terms of user experience, like web-based application have a big advantage that nobody has to download an application. They just go to a website. Mm-hmm. And so for these reasons, I love JavaScript, and that's why I'm implementing everything in JavaScript, and then it just fits into my implementation well, that people write their smart contracts in JavaScript. Right. That being said, the Bitcoin token standard, it's not written yet, but when it will be written, it will not mention JavaScript. Okay, it will just say, you can implement this in any programming language you like, and whichever programming language you choose to implement the Bitcoin token standard in, you're going to ask sort of your users to provide the smart contracts in this language. So people can implement the whole thing in whatever language that they want, and then sort of also use whatever language they want as a smart contract language.
Got it. Yeah. Cool. So thank you so much. Where can people find out more about what you're doing and potentially get in contact with you?
Yeah, well, so my website is now bitcointoken.com. My email address is clemens@bitcointoken.com. So please get in touch. I'm looking for people to contribute to my open source project and just get engaged. I'm also looking for my first customers. If you want to like launch your token on top of my platform, first of all, I think you should, because currently you have the choice of doing it on Ethereum, or you can use a Bitcoin-based token standard. Okay. My token standard works on Bitcoin Cash, which is 100 times cheaper than Ethereum. So if you're now starting to build an application on top of Ethereum, you know that one day someone will build like a very similar competitor to yours on top of Bitcoin Cash at 100 times lower price. Right. Okay, and it's very hard. You can be as good as you like. It's going to be impossible to compete with 100 times lower price. So I highly recommend building smart contracts on top of Bitcoin Cash, and of course I think they should use my solution, because my solution is just much more general than everything that's out there. And also I've just been working on this project for 4 months. So if you start working with me now, sort of you'll be able to integrate like all the cool new stuff that I plan to launch over the next years. You'll all be able to use. So I highly recommend people to get in touch if you want to planning a token sale. That's supposed to happen sometime early next year. I highly recommend email me at clemens.bitcointoken.com. We'll try to help you as good as we can, and we'll do something together. Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.